I will start again and record. So, welcome to Mission Magic again, where women on a mission give us an update on their latest thinking. I'm Lucy Macara. I run the Mission Mastermind and I'm the founder of Book Magic AI and Rethink Press. Today, I am really excited to be talking to Philippa Charrier. Philippa is an amazing property developer, an author, and a mum on a mission. She's committed to helping the next generation thrive in body, brain, and beyond. With a background in architecture, Philippa founded Fat Properties to rethink the way we house students. And today she leads the Thrive Mode movement, working with parents, universities, and student communities to shift the conversation around mental health from crisis to prevention and from coping to thriving. So, Philippa, let me hand over to you. It's wonderful to have you here. Thank you for giving us this presentation, and I'm really looking forward to hearing what you have to say.
Thank you so much, Lucy. Right, I will. Let me just do the sharing of the screen. Hopefully that all works okay. There we are. Can everyone see that?
Fantastic. Yes, everyone can see that.
Brilliant.
I can anyway.
Thank you so much, everybody, for taking the time out of your busy schedules to be here today. What I would encourage you to do, if you can, is to stand up. Turn your video off, stand up if you can. If you're watching this on your mobile phone, then please just walk around. Just move as much as possible. We spend too much of our time sitting down. And I just would really encourage you all to please just move if you can. Just stand, do anything goes, and everything is encouraged. It's great for you, but it's also good for me because you'll remember 20% more of this presentation just by moving while listening. So please move. For those that don't know me, I'm Philippa Charrier. Thanks, Lucy, for introducing me. I'm a mum on a mission to rethink student wellbeing and to spark a new movement. One that doesn't just respond to crisis, but to help prevent it entirely. Right now, somewhere in the UK, a straight-A student is Googling how to end her life. She hasn't told anyone, but she's slipping academically, emotionally, and physically. And her family and friends will only know when it's too late. So who am I? I'm not a psychologist. I didn't train to be a doctor. I trained to be an architect. For years, I worked all over the world on award-winning urban regeneration projects, designing environments that shape how people live, move, and feel. 12 years ago, I founded Fat Properties, an award-winning student accommodation company using design as a tool to support well-being. Yes, I'm a property developer and a landlord, and nearly a two-time author, Design for Wellbeing and Student Thrive Mode, which will be published in September. But above all, I'm a mum of three, and I'm someone who's spent years listening to students, learning from experts, studying neuroscience, psychology, ancient wisdom in search of real answers. And why have I been doing all this? Because I've watched a generation quietly falling apart behind closed doors. These students are not lazy, they are not broken. They are just overwhelmed, under-supported, and out of sync with the world that we've built around them. I didn't ever set out to write one book or even two. I set out to solve a problem I saw too many young people facing alone. We keep telling young people, university will be the best years of your life, and for some it is, but for many it isn't. And we can't fix what we don't face. Here are the stats. 1 in 3 university students will experience clinical levels of anxiety or depression during their degree. That's 1 in 3. 1 in 4 have seriously considered suicide in the past year. 1 in 4, that is just shocking. 9 in 10 say education is their biggest source of anxiety. 2/3 feel lonely, with 1 in 5 saying they don't have a single close friend. 1 in 5 don't have a single close friend. Prescriptions for antidepressants among 18 to 24-year-olds have doubled in the last decade, and only 4% of university students say they have good mental well-being. Behind every single stat is a young person waking up with dread, scrolling to escape, struggling silently, unheard, unseen, and unsupported. And this isn't just a phase, it's getting worse. Mental health conditions among undergraduates are now 5 times higher than they were 10 years ago. We talk about resilience, but how can students build it when we're not setting them up to do so? From a young age, we hand them a smartphone instead of space, Wi-Fi instead of wisdom, and hope they'll somehow grow up knowing how to cope. We give them access to the entire world while disconnecting them from their own. By the time they reach university, many have spent a decade learning how to swipe, scroll, self-compare, but not how to rest, not how to self-regulate, not how to reach out when things fall apart. We glamorize independence, hand them a loan and a laptop and expect them to go and figure it out. Too often I hear people say, but they're only students, they just need to toughen up. We manage without help. But the world is not the same, and neither is the university experience. This generation of students is the first to grow up without ever knowing life before the internet, raised on front-facing cameras and filtered perfection, where self-worth was shaped in public and measured in pixels. They've grown up in a culture of comparison, distraction, and perfectionism, under constant pressure to perform, achieve, and to appear fine. They're navigating a world their parents never had to survive. Phones that steal their sleep with blue light, late night scrolling, and endless dopamine hits. Ultra-processed foods sold as convenience, stripping their brains of the nutrients they desperately need, delivered 24/7 to their sofas at a tap of a button. Online lectures and Zoom tutorials, replacing real connection with digital fatigue. Studio flats and ensuite rooms sold as private luxury, but often breeding deep loneliness. A culture of digital comparison where filtered perfection is the baseline and no one ever feels enough. £1 billion AI systems designed to hijack their attention, keeping them hooked on TikTok, YouTube, Netflix, Instagram, Facebook, the infinite scroll. Movement replaced by screen time. Nature replaced by calories. We built them a world of 24/7 access, but forgot to build in rest, rhythm, and real relationships. We gave them unlimited content, but took away the anchors that keep us human. They're not weaker, they're not failing, they're simply trying to function in an environment that's working against them every minute of every single day. And it's no wonder so many are struggling. Where students live also matters, but too often we're building for efficiency, not for well-being. We spend 90% of our lives indoors, 90%, and 65% of that time in our home. Students spend 2 full years of a 3-year degree in the accommodation that we build. So how we design those spaces, it matters. We're not just shaping bedrooms, we're shaping nervous systems. We're shaping mental health, whether we realise it or not. Studio flats with everything at arm's reach. No need to share a bathroom, we say, or kitchen, as if privacy trumps loneliness. But these rooms have become echo chambers. There's no reason to leave, no natural nudge towards connection. Studio living isn't just independence, it's often social starvation. A few years ago, I was invited to judge an international design competition. Bright, talented students had flown from all over the world, future architects, engineers, creators, but every conversation came back to the same thing: pressure, perfectionism, exhaustion, medication, medication. Every single student I met was on antidepressants. And what struck me wasn't just a number, it was how normalized it had become. Like exhaustion, anxiety, and medication were now just part of being a student. One student pulled me aside and told me about someone who used to live in their building. Another student living alone in a studio flat, and they'd taken their own life. They'd been gone for days before anyone had noticed. The studio had everything: high-speed Wi-Fi, an ensuite, a kitchenette, everything except for somebody to knock, somebody to ask, "Are you okay?" The only people in their lives were the paid staff working in the building. There were no close friends, no housemates, no one to put the worlds to right with, just a quiet room behind a locked door. That story has never left me. That was somebody's son, that was somebody's brother, somebody's friend, and it should never, ever be that easy for a young person to disappear, especially without ever being missed. If we lose them to crisis or even chronic burnout, we lose more than individuals. We lose the future. Sorry. We've sidelined student well-being as if it's not central to success, as if it's someone else's problem, something for universities to deal with, or the parents, or the NHS. But it's not a student problem, it's a societal one. Because these young people, they're tomorrow's doctors and nurses, teachers and scientists, founders, carers, leaders and builders, and parents. And if we lose them to crisis or even chronic burnout, we lose more than individuals. We lose the future. Because when the student drops out, a ripple spreads. Families suffer, workplaces lose innovation, communities fracture, mental health services become overwhelmed. What happens downstream when we ignore well-being upstream? We get overloaded A&Es, staff shortages, broken systems, a generation unable to carry the world we're asking them to lead. We're spending billions rescuing people once they're already drowning, but prevention is cheaper than cure and far more powerful. Let's talk about what happens when a student does speak up and ask for help, because many don't. Those who do are often met with a system that's so overwhelmed, under-resourced and reactive. They have at least a 4-month waiting list for support. Too often, students who do seek support are offered antidepressants before anyone even asks them about lifestyle. No one asks, are you sleeping? Are you eating real food? Are you moving your body? Are you connected to anyone who cares? Instead, a 10-minute GP appointment might lead to a prescription, but no personalized plan, no real conversation, and no follow-up on how they're actually living. And here's the really scary part. A 2022 review found no evidence that depression is caused by low serotonin, challenging one of the most widely held beliefs in modern psychiatry. Yet despite this, medication is still routinely offered as a first-line treatment to many students seeking help. But the risks are real. Antidepressants can increase suicidal thoughts and behaviours in young people, especially in the early weeks of use. These risks are stated in pharmaceutical leaflets and NICE guidelines, but how many of us are aware of this? How many students are ever told? Long-term use can lead to emotional numbness, dependency, and withdrawal symptoms, which often get mistaken for relapse, therefore leading to higher doses. And many students are left carrying a mental health diagnosis long after the distress has passed, a label that can shape their identity, limit their self-belief, and influence how others see them. Now, this isn't to say that medication has no place. For some, it's essential, but for many, it's not the first step that's needed. And we're seeing a disturbing pattern. We've started medicalizing emotional pain instead of listening to it. We're treating symptoms, not systems. We're diagnosing distress as a disorder when it's often a perfectly human reaction to an inhuman environment. Let's be clear. If a student is sleep deprived, undernourished, and socially isolated, if they haven't moved in days or stepped outside, if they feel behind before they've even begun, then of course they're anxious. Of course they feel depressed, and of course they're struggling. Giving pills without addressing root causes is like trying to silence a fire alarm instead of putting out the fire. Pills can't fix what the environment has broken, yet we still keep expecting them to. We don't expect a plant in the dark to thrive. We give it water, light, and nourishment. Then it grows stronger. And it's time we did the same for our students. Feeling overwhelmed in a massive life transition isn't a disorder, it's a signal. But we've created a system that turns distress into diagnosis and hands out pills instead of tools. Let's zoom out for a moment. Human beings evolved on the savannah, moving daily, eating real food, sleeping with the sun, and living in close community. Our biology hasn't changed much in 200,000 years, but our environment has drastically. We are Stone Age bodies living in a digital world. Our students are navigating constant deadlines, artificial light, processed food, 24/7 alerts, no rhythm, no rest, no roots. And we wonder why we're dysregulated. This isn't a problem that we can medicate our way out of. And just in case you're in any doubt at all, if medication worked alone, the stats would not be getting this. But here's the good news. In the past few years, I've immersed myself in this space, reading the research, listening to students, and learning from every single angle I could, from trauma therapists and neuroscientists to GPs, sleep experts, functional medicine doctors, psychologists, behavioral scientists, and even ancient wisdom traditions. And you know what I found? They are all saying the same thing. From the Stoics to the yogis, from the Harvard labs to the frontline medics, from modern biohacking to ancient breathing practices, the answer is in how we live. Real well-being isn't built in crisis, it's built from the ground up through daily repeatable habits that nourish the nervous system and protect mental health. It's not complicated, it's just been forgotten. And when we support students in a way that aligns with how their brains and bodies are designed to thrive, everything changes. The research is consistent and it's all pointing in the same direction. Across neuroscience, nutrition, physiology, psychology, the message is clear. Well-being isn't a luxury, it's the foundation of everything. Academic performance, mental health, confidence, resilience, all of it thrives with well-being underneath. And here's what the evidence shows. There are 6 foundational pillars that every expert from ancient philosophy to modern science come back to again and again. These aren't fads, they're not new, but together they form a powerful blueprint for real lasting change. These 6 pillars form the backbone of what I call Thrive Mode. Mind, breathe, move, fuel, connect and sleep, built on science, rooted in biology and proven in real life. Your mind shapes your reality, but left unchecked, it can become a breeding ground for anxiety, self-doubt and burnout. Students who build mental awareness, who learn tools like reframing, mindfulness, journaling and gratitude report greater resilience, more motivation and higher life satisfaction. This isn't about toxic positivity. It's about mental hygiene being as vital as physical hygiene. You don't have to believe every single thought you think. You can choose better ones. Breathwork isn't soft, it's science. Mindful breathing activates the parasympathetic nervous system, calming the body, steadying the heart, and bringing the brain back online. Slow nasal breathing stimulates the vagus nerve, lowers cortisol, and restores calm. Studies show mindful breathing can reduce anxiety more effectively than prescription medication. And here's the best part. It's instant, it's free, and it's always with you. In a world of overstimulation, your breath becomes your anchor. With regular practice, it can transform sleep, sharpen focus, and regulate emotions, even under pressure, even in exams. It's not about doing more. Sometimes it's about pausing and breathing better. Exercise isn't just for your body, it transforms your brain. It boosts BDNF, a brain chemical essential for learning, memory, and mental sharpness. A simple 10-minute walk after studying can improve memory retention by up to 20%. Just 20 minutes of movement can reduce symptoms of anxiety and depression by 26%. The science keeps coming. Regular exercise improves sleep, focus, motivation, and mood. And it's been shown to be 1.5 times more effective than antidepressants for mild to moderate depression. And this isn't about punishing workouts or hitting the gym at 6 a.m. It's about reclaiming movement as a daily tool for mental clarity and emotional strength. Walk, dance, stretch, lift, just move. Many students today are overfed but undernourished. Balanced nutrition supports energy, focus, and emotional regulation. And the brain is hungry. Even though it makes up just 2% of your body weight, it uses 20% of your energy. So what you feed it matters. Diets high in ultra-processed foods and the kind that make up over 70% of the average student diet are linked to a 50% increased risk of depression, anxiety, and brain fog. Students who eat real nutrient-dense food not only feel better, but they perform better too. And then there's gut-brain connection. Moving cities, changing routines, constant stress, all of this disrupts the gut microbiome. And your gut health plays a powerful role in your mood. But the good news, small daily changes can rebuild that resilience from the inside out. This isn't about perfection, it's about fueling your potential one meal at a time. Real relationships protect mental health, but today, Generation Z is the loneliest generation in history, and Generation Alpha will face even more disconnection. Despite all the DMs and the snap streaks, so many students feel unseen. But the truth is we're wired for connection, and when that's missing, our bodies and minds suffer. Social isolation is now considered as harmful to health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. But even one supportive relationship, one real connection can build resilience and buffer against stress. Students with strong social networks don't just feel better, they perform better. They score higher on problem-solving tasks thanks to enhanced brain plasticity. And why is this? Because connection builds safety. Safety is the foundation of learning. But connection isn't just about people. Our relationship to the natural world matters too. Fresh air, rustling leaves, sunlight through trees, these aren't luxuries, they're lifelines. Spending just 20 minutes in nature can significantly reduce cortisol levels. Exposure to natural light, fresh air, and the steady rhythm of the outdoors calms the nervous system and restores focus. And design matters too, and biophilia. And it matters more than you think. Desks near windows boost productivity by 25%. Adding plants improves learning speed. As you can see, I have plants. Hospital patients recover faster and need less medication when they can see greenery. Connection is medicine, whether it's with a friend or with nature. Sleep is not a reward for productivity, it's a foundation beneath it. Good sleep supports memory, mood, immunity, and mental health. But most students aren't getting nearly enough of it. Sleep deprivation impairs focus, emotional regulation, and learning capacity, and the science is clear. Students who consistently sleep 7 to 9 hours not only feel better, they perform better and are 68% less likely to experience depressive symptoms just from sleeping longer. During deep sleep, the brain literally cleans itself, processing memories, repairing cells, and flushing out stress chemicals. This is when the resilience is restored, when the nervous system recalibrates, when the mind gets quiet enough to recover. Sleep is not a luxury, it's a leadership tool. And we need to stop glorifying exhaustion like it's a badge of honor. Students don't need more hustle, they need more rest. Lifestyle interventions often outperform pharmaceuticals, but we really rarely give them a chance. And yet we're spending billions and billions rescuing people once they're already drowning, instead of teaching students how to swim. This isn't about weakness, it's about biology, it's about basic human needs, and it's about a system that is completely misaligned with how people, especially young people, thrive. What if we stopped firefighting crisis and started embedding prevention? Wellbeing isn't a distraction from success, it's the foundation of it. Students who have adapted these habits don't just feel better, they do better. They get to achieve higher grades. They're more motivated, more creative, and more engaged. And they go on to achieve more, not despite of prioritizing their well-being, but because of it. This isn't about fixing students. It's about removing the blocks that stop them from becoming who they already have the potential to be. So where do we go from here? If we know that well-being drives performance, if we know that mental health is shaped by daily inputs, not just diagnosis, then we need a new model, one that puts lifestyle, connection, and the nervous system at the center. And this is why I've created Thrive Mode, a simple science-backed framework designed to help students build lives that support their bodies, brains, and full potential. It's not about perfection, it's about daily doable actions that stack up over time. Because small habits repeated consistently change everything. Thriving students don't just rely on intelligence or motivation. They train their brain for focus and mental resilience. They master their breath for calm and focus. They unlock energy, focus, and strength through movement. They nourish their body and mind for peak performance. They foster meaningful relationships for well-being. They reclaim deep rest as their superpower. These 6 pillars are just as effective and often more so than medication for reducing stress, anxiety, and depression, while also enhancing focus, energy, and overall well-being. And why is that? Because they work with their biology and not against it. These 6 pillars form the foundation of a new way of living, one that doesn't just protect mental health, but actively builds it. And it's not reserved for the lucky few. It's teachable, learnable, and repeatable. Every student deserves to know this, and every university can be part of this change. And the best thing of all of this, each habit, every single habit doesn't cost a thing. Students don't need more pressure. Students don't need more pressure, more diagnosis, or more pills. They need tools, not just talk, skills, not just safety nets, connection, not comparison. They need to know that emotional pain is not weakness, that struggle doesn't mean failure, that help exists beyond the prescription pad. They need adults who see them, support them, and stand with them. What if, instead of assuming they're broken, we fix the environment? When students thrive, everybody benefits. Families feel hopeful, staff feel engaged, GPs can focus on care and not crisis. Employers welcome graduates who are confident, creative, and resilient. Universities see higher engagement, stronger communities, and better outcomes. This isn't just a student issue, it's a collective opportunity. Because when we prioritise well-being, we don't just prevent burnout, we unlock potential. We create a generation that is not just surviving university, but leaving it ready to lead, to innovate, to contribute. This is the foundation for a healthier, more human future. If this generation thrives, then the next one will flourish. But students can't do this alone. We need a cultural reset. Universities, parents, property developers, medics, we are all part of the environment and all part of the solution. We must design student spaces that support real connection, fund prevention, not just crisis response, teach basic life skills as core curriculum, make lifestyle science engaging, practical, and non-patronizing. We don't need another app. We need a movement. And that's why I wrote Student Thrive Mode. That's why I'm building the the Thrive Mode movement to shift the narrative, to challenge the norm, and to equip this generation to thrive in body, brain, and beyond. I want to tell a new story about university life, one where students walk into their homes and are part of a community and not alone, where food is real, sleep is sacred, movement is daily, and no one suffers in silence behind a screen or a locked door, where students don't just survive university, they thrive. Because this isn't a student issue, this is a societal wake-up call. So I ask you, what role will you play in your work, in your home, in your policies, in your choices? Because if we lose this generation to burnout and despair, we all lose. It's not their fault, but the solution, that's in our hands, and the time to act is now. Thrive Mode starts with us. If you're a parent, model it, listen deeper, create safety. If you're a university, stop firefighting, proactively design well-being into the fabric of student life, not just a crisis response. If you're a property developer, design homes that nourish the nervous system, not just meet regulations. If you're a policymaker, fund prevention, not just crisis. And if you're a student, start small, one pillar, one breath, one choice. Because students aren't failing, the system is, and we have the power and the responsibility to design it. This is about changing the future of student mental health, not just through crisis response, but by empowering young people to build resilience from day one. Now, before I close, I'm really excited to leave you with something practical. It's called the Thrive Check. It's free and will only take a few minutes. I've created it to help students and anyone that's supporting them to quickly see how they're doing across the 6 pillars of Thrive Mode. You get a personalized score, instant insights, and some simple ideas to improve the areas where you might be struggling. Whether you're a student, a parent, or someone working with young people, please feel free to take the Thrive Check and to share. It's quick, it's practical, and it might just shift the way you think about well-being. Thank you so much for going through all that with me. I hope you're all still there. And thank you. And I'm happy to answer any questions. Oh, sorry, I'll put it back on.
Amazing, Philippa. Thank you so much for that. Do you want to stop sharing and then we can talk to everybody? Fantastic.
There we are. Have you?
So that was really, I mean, that was both shocking and thought-provoking. And I think everybody was really moved by a lot of your statistics. So the first question I've got is from Annette, who asks, can I ask where you got those statistics from, please? It would be excellent for a workshop that she's delivering on well-being. I don't know if you've got a quick answer to that or whether...
Absolutely. If you contact me on LinkedIn, I've got everything. I've got all the stats. They're all in my book. So they're all linked. Everything's in there. So yeah, please contact me on LinkedIn or anywhere else, and I will share the stats with you, which are just absolute. I mean, if you think about those stats and you actually just think, I mean, it's just horrific that we're here now and we're having to deal with this. And I never set out to write these books. I didn't want to. I didn't set out, you know, my background's in architecture, so, but I just couldn't keep quiet any longer of what I was seeing and how things are changing in the last 12 years that I've been a landlord, really, and property developer of student spaces.
That's that's extraordinary. So just some comments in the chat. Michaela says, I'm currently supporting a student who is on Xanax and has taken 2 overdoses in the last 4 weeks. Antidepressants are not a magical fix. I don't imagine you've got a solution to that, Philippa, but I mean, that's a terrible indictment of what's going on. And Michaela also asks, do universities differ in terms of what health and wellness programs and opportunities they provide?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's completely different through different. I mean, this is a global issue. This isn't just a UK issue, which is horrifying. And they do every university. There's a university, the student minds have got a university mental health charter. So that's brilliant. And universities can sign up for that, but that's very much a top-down approach. This is very much a bottom-up approach, which is what I'm doing. I'm just wanting to get to the students and actually start, through the book, they can see these tools. Everything's shared in the book.
Fantastic. So Veronica and Annette both say amazing, thank you. And Veronica asks, how can a coach get involved to help?
Good question. Send me an email. Let's talk. I mean, I've where I'm up to now. My background, as I've already said, I'm a property developer. This is my mission. I'm a mum on a mission that, I'm a mum of three and I want to get this sorted. If we can all work together to do this, I can't do this on my own. Universities can't do this on their own. We all need to work together and see what we can do. And everybody, just the awareness of it all. I said in the presentation, this is, students seem to they don't get the recognition, they don't get everybody sort of says, oh, they're only students, students just drink, they're all sleep all day, all this. But it's just so not true, and they're just underrepresented, and somebody just needs to, this is why I'm talking about it, because nobody talks about it. I don't hear anybody talking about it. Property developers, we're not, as a collective, property developers aren't really involved in this. So, the first book we wrote was all about design for well-being, designing spaces that impact your well-being. And that was really to sort of just share the message to other property developers and to universities about what they could do to design student accommodation better.
So Jean says, great presentation, Philippa. This is Jean Gibson, and shocking statistics. What are you offering to help parents implement the changes needed? And she says, what about neurodivergent young people?
This isn't a one size fits all approach. This deals with every single student. These are all fundamental, all very, the mind, all the pillars can be used by every single person and improve everybody's health. And sorry, what was the other one? What we're doing with parents? Parents,
Yes.
absolutely. The book was really my book is written for students, but whether the students will buy the book is another thing. This is really for the parents. This book is written for the parents so that they can take it, they can read it, and they can share it with the students, their children. I mean, when I first started thinking about writing the book, the parents are the people that I want to get to. They are the people, but then, it's how anybody gets hold of this information. It's just raising awareness of it. The parents, this will help. All the Thrive Mode will help parents, will help students, will help everybody. So hopefully it'll impact everybody.
That's great. And Mary Gregory asks, who are the strategic partners you could work with that would help maximize your impact? I'm thinking that it isn't a big selling point for the university itself to be ensuring student well-being. So is there an option to partner with them?
Absolutely. I've been before, I've contacted, I know Glyn's here, so thank you, Glyn, from Lancaster University. I have been emailing everybody under the sun, contacting them. This is now, I've been hidden away for 2 years writing this book, and I've just been head down. Now's my time to get out there and start talking about it and to sort of really open everybody's eyes to it. The book's going to be released in September, which is great. And I just really want to share all the stats, share the information, and to work with anybody. If I can help anybody, then absolutely, I'm willing to work with people. So yeah.
Fantastic. So Paula, you've got your hand up. Do you want to ask your question?
Yes, thank you. Hi, Philippa. Amazing talk, and so good to hear all the things that you've been up to. And I think you could be so proud of this. I can remember when you had that, if it's the same one, that life-changing moment where you heard about the European students and what they were going through. I remember, like, a social pitch you did at the time, it was so powerful, the fact that that's rocked you to your core and you've spent all of this time doing this work. And I just wanted to say, so I wanted to basically congratulate you rather than ask a question per se, but also I found it very telling that you said that your 6 pillars are all free, and that suggests to me why that it's an underserved solution, and because there's a lot of synergy and similarities to the project that I'm working on as well, and it's the same sort of thing, especially the breath work, and because it's free solutions, then people like, if it doesn't pay someone pay a team to administer them, then that's where there's been this problem. So I think you dovetailing what you're currently doing and this together, and then doing the associations with other organisations, or getting these messages heard, getting out on social media and those sorts of things, and how you rise through September. I'm going to be doing a big promotion through September, so I'd love to jump and piggyback onto me onto you on things, if that serves with what you're doing, because I think there's a real synergy in the messaging. And it's also because of the different training I know you've had, I know that you're going to be someone who can run with this and make this happen, especially as you've got 3 children of your own and you want to have this system serving and working for them. So I just want to take my hat off to you, Philippa, and say congratulations. It's a very powerful thing that you're doing, and like you say, it's a global problem, but because of we've got this tech problem, but the tech can also serve the solutions, because people with tech can hear your message, and I just want to congratulate you. So,
Oh, thank you, Paula. That's so kind. Thank you.
That's brilliant.
It's just on that comment about students are quite vulnerable in this stage, because they are marketed when, as soon as they go to Freshers Week and they have Freshers Fair, they are sold all the ultra processed foods, are given free stuff, they are the key, people go in, all the companies go in and try and sell them all the stuff, or not sell them, give them away, all the freebies, and their Uber Eats, all these things that are just pushed on them. So it is a hard thing. They're not being marketed all this breath work and all these free things, like you say, Paula.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I wanted to ask you, Philippa, on the sort of, particularly on the loneliness and the support areas. You said this was an international problem with students all around the world, but the UK is well, certainly England. I don't actually know about Wales or Scotland, but our system is for students to go and find universities away from home mostly. It's unusual for them, well, mostly for them to find a university place in their own town or locally to them. I mean, for instance, in Australia, people are much more likely to apply to their local university, and so they either stay living with their parents or in their own community. And I wondered whether, there's something wrong with our system in sort of, I mean, in one way, it's very exciting for people to be able to leave home and go off and, often go to maybe bigger cities or something. But is there something not right with our system about kind of pushing students away from their homes?
I don't think they do. I think a lot more students are staying at home because of the financial crisis. That they can't afford to pay for accommodation far away from home. So a lot of them are now living at home. And again, that causes problems. People are going away. They've not got the support network still. The loneliness thing is huge. There are a lot of parents that, especially with international students that we see, they want to create this beautiful, they want students to live. We have it with UK students as well. a lot of parents think they're doing the best for their children by giving them or paying for them to have this most incredible accommodation that looks brilliant. You know, you've got your own space, you can lock the door and you don't have to see anyone else, you don't have to share a toilet with anyone else, you don't have to share a kitchen with anyone else, you make the mess, you clean up after it. But what happens then, obviously, is what I've been talking about, is that they are completely isolated. They don't have an opportunity to meet anyone else. And if they do have an opportunity to meet someone else, then it's in a large communal space where it's for 200 people living in a block of studios. And it takes a certain person to be able to go into a space like a big communal space. I wouldn't be happy doing it, to actually go and talk to somebody. And you're not going to go there in your pajamas and your slippers and going to sort of like go and sit and have a cup of tea. So it's very much put your makeup on, you put your clothes on, you go out and you go into the communal space. What we really need to sort of just break it down again is just to create these small communal spaces that are for 6 people or so, where, you know, you're nudging people out of their rooms, out of their bedrooms, to go to the toilet, to go to the kitchen so they can make a cup of tea and chat to somebody. And it's those chance meetings on the corridor, on anywhere, that we get this community. So it's just embedding that into developments, into universities, so that we are facilitating communities and, you know, people to chat to each other and to meet each other.
So basically, our universities and other housing providers are just making student accommodation like sort of too nice. You know, they're trying to make it too nice to.
Don't get me wrong. Some people are doing this brilliantly, but other people are not, and they can get away with it as well, which is a real problem. There's a lot of levels, a lot of differences, but they're just fundamentals, and these 6 pillars are the fundamentals. You know, if we can connect people, if we can design kitchens. This is all in the first book, the Design for Wellbeing book. We can design kitchens that can nudge people to eat healthier. We can design toilets and spaces and bedrooms so that they are more productive. The students are more productive. They're going to learn faster. They're going to learn quicker. They're going to retain information more. We can design spaces so that people could be more active. So it's all just cleverly designed. It's not hard work. It's not, you know, it's just spending more time thinking about how people are going to use the space and think that they're people rather than the money, anything else. It's just how people are going to use these spaces and how we can do it for their well-being.
Yeah, but there's sort of, I kind of feel there's something about over sanitizing student accommodation. I mean, when I think of mine or my son's kind of happy days, student days, I mean, I think we all started in hall, in university hall the first year, and it wasn't, I mean, my sons are in their 40s now, so I mean, all of this is a very long time ago. But you know, it wasn't luxurious. Nobody had their own bathrooms, and you had to go and you had to go and use the shared kitchen if you were going to cook indoors, and you had to eat in the hall if you were going to eat. And then that was the first year, and in the second year, you'd made some friends, and you'd get a student house together. And there's a kind of horrible joy in the messiness and the dirtiness and the the mess and negotiating who was going to tidy up and who didn't, kind of thing in the shared student house. And is that not happening anymore?
It is still happening. It's happening with our houses and other people doing it. You know, it's brilliant, but you can combine. They don't all have to be awful. You know, we can combine really well designed accommodation so that it's got the social spaces. A lot of the HMOs, a lot of the, there's both sides with purpose-built student accommodation and the HMOs, the standard, the typical, what we're used to in the olden days. They can both be designed well. Now, a lot of the HMOs, they're losing the social spaces because obviously you can get another bedroom out of that. So they're prioritizing the returns, the bedrooms on that, so that, the students don't have social spaces, don't have much social spaces. What we do in ours, and what I would recommend, is that you have to create the social spaces. Everybody needs social spaces to come together out of their bedrooms. It's not just a tick box exercise that we've got this, so let's tick it. It's actually, you've really got to think about how people are living in these spaces, because they are, and we're spending 65% of our time in our homes, and if you convert that, that's 2 years of a 3-year course in your home. So how we design it is super important.
Yeah, and I suppose perhaps the other thing that I'm not really aware of is that we used to have to go out to lectures and tutorials and sit with people in rooms. I guess a lot of that happens online now, and you're still you're having your lecture online or your tutorial on Zoom.
Yeah, I mean, it's like this now. We wouldn't have done this before COVID. We probably wouldn't have had this Zoom meeting, be up on
No,
stage
no.
talking, and but now, and we've just made it so easy to be able to just sit around and not have to leave our homes, that we can, dial in, and we can do this, where we just need to step back and just think, how are we designed? We don't need to go to a gym and start running on treadmills and things. Just go outside, walk, move your body.
Absolutely.
It's just taking the fundamentals and just stripping it right back and looking at how we evolved, why are we here, and what are we doing?
Yeah, and I suppose other student spaces like libraries, people don't actually need to go out and go to a library anymore because all the information is available on the internet. Yeah, I mean, sorry, I'm just kind of
reminiscing,
coming back, but I was sort of part of DramSoc, of dramas, kind of the drama society, which was a massively social thing. And I don't know how much students get involved with, and how much students are kind of encouraged to do other things that are socially.
There are students that are thriving, students that will be, and what I see in our accommodation, the ones that are thriving follow these rules. They have a community, they eat well, they move their body, they go out, they go to lectures, they do this. So this is what I'm seeing, where they're thriving, and this is what the book is talking about.
Yeah. Michaela says in Portugal, the culture is very much that students go home most weekends, if not every weekend. And the travel aspect is made much easier as students can buy a rail ticket, which gives them access to unlimited travel nationally for just €20, which is amazing.
Amazing. Yeah, amazing.
So I'm just, Lenka says, I manage shared student accommodation, and it's definitely our plus point. Although loads of students are anxious to come to shared space, and it can create problems when people don't get along. That's interesting. I don't know if you want to say any more about that, Lenka. Maybe not. But that's an interesting point. Oh, yes. Sorry, Lenka also says, we also create engaging events for students, but so many of them are shy and uncomfortable to join in. Oh, that's kind of, yeah, that's very sad. Those who do definitely benefit, and we would love to be able to encourage students to join more and come out of their shell, but it's hard work. I definitely agree that your book should start reaching parents, as they already have access to the students. Yeah. That makes sense.
Thank you, Lenka.
Yes, Lenka, I wonder what your role is, what you do.
Hello.
Hi, Lenka.
I'll try the video as well. I'm on the phone though.
Oh, nice to see you.
Hi. Yeah, so I actually manage student accommodation in Lancaster.
Oh.
So yeah, I already reached out to you on LinkedIn, Philippa, as well, because I really would like to coordinate something with you around your book and with the students. And yeah, we have 230 students, but it is a hard work, and it's it's nice to see them engaging. And we literally just today have a make your own milkshake event, so we had quite a few students for that. But yeah, it's just hard to get them to open up and come and join. And I do believe that like shared accommodation is great, but the amount of students we have who come and be like, you don't have en suites, well, no thank you. and they just can't imagine sharing a bathroom with somebody. And yeah, I do feel that the shift needs to come from the families as well, and from the students to sort of be like, okay, I need to improve my life, and hopefully we can do that for them, and we can help them to get there, because it's very, very important.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's struggling with this issue. It's a hard one, and with a lot of students, young people, we see it with our teenagers. They're just glued to your phone. And now, my kids are just like, for goodness sake, why are you writing this book, all this research, all these podcasts, all these books that I've read? I'm constantly saying, get off your phone and don't do this, and let's go for walks outside. Let's which we do anyway, but it's a struggle, because we've got these screens that are glued to us, and the government are trying to, well, hopefully going to make the age of media higher. But then again, what impact's that going to have on students? Because as soon as they get to university, then they're going to be suddenly, oh, I'm allowed on this, I'm allowed on this. So we just need to go from parents, students.
100%. Thank you for the lovely presentation.
Nice to meet you.
And you, I hope I meet you in person soon.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, Philippa, thank you so much for that. Such an interesting discussion, and thank you everybody for your questions and input as well. I do go to Philippa's survey and questionnaire and answer the questions, because I'm sure that will give it will help you link up with Philippa for a start, but it will also provide lots more extra useful information. Philippa, is there anything you want to finish off with?
No, just to say thank you so much for taking your time. Please just go and move your bodies. Get out. You've been sitting down for too long if you haven't been running or doing anything while you've been listening to me. But we just need to move. I've learned so much with writing this book. And yeah, thank you so much for spending your time with me. And yeah, please connect with me on LinkedIn. That would be great.
Well, thank you.
Or anywhere else that you can find me.
Yeah, no, I'm sure, we'll put the links when we post this. And thank you very much, Philippa, again, for a wonderful presentation. Very, very thought-provoking. And yeah, we all need to think about how we can make things better in this area. Very important.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.